Hey everybody, let me just go live since we're waiting for Mary Catherine to join us. Kita ngobrol-ngobrol aja dulu. What's up, Rob? What's up, Maria?
What's up?
Hey, good evening everybody. Let me give a shout out to my friend Andri Matondang, Horas Jalagabe, dan juga buat teman kita Ivon yang ada di New York. Kalian aja gitu. So anyways, am I recording this? I am recording this. So I'm going to also put it on our YouTube for the Indonesian American Democrats. Jadi sebenarnya tujuannya malam ini sih untuk ngobrol-ngobrol dengan Mary Catherine supaya kita sama-sama belajar, because sometimes we are so quick to post something on Facebook, and when I say we, that also means me. Sometimes we just think like, oh, that person's opinion is wrong, so I should post what I think it's right. Sometimes we want to do that, and then sometimes mungkin it's something that is, as a society we think it's right, as a society we think it's wrong, but at the same time legally, from a legal perspective, what is right and what is wrong. So I got a messenger from some lawyer that claimed that I have like apa itu namanya, melakukan defamation untuk seseorang. But then it was a messenger, and I actually didn't do anything. I don't think I'm gonna find the post. Basically, what I posted is two ladies. One is Indonesian, one is not Indonesian, who showing hand gestures that is showing the white power gesture and showing like a hate, basically like a hate gesture, right? So that's what I did. And then my posting is actually saying, hey girls, kalian itu orang putih, you're not white. So then you actually don't have the privilege that you think you might have just because you're wearing the other guy's shirt, which is like, you can vote whoever you want to vote, right? But the whole point is that hati-hati, because sometimes we have a lot to learn as a new immigrant community here in the US. We have a lot to learn, the history of this country, the history of the Black civil rights activists, right? Kenapa imigran bisa masuk ke Amerika? But like, my friends actually going to go live at 8. I'm going to help them to go live at 8 to talk about Black History Month, which is going to be amazing. But supaya kita belajar sama-sama, the whole point is that tonight we can learn a little bit, so then we know what we should and should not post. Oh, hi, Mary Catherine. I think she's connecting right now. So anyways, that's what we're doing. Nothing like too special, but I think it's just like a learning experience for everybody. Hi.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I am well. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, I'm delighted to do this.
Yeah. So I was just kind of rambling a little bit. Like, why?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't have my audio on until just a moment ago.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to, like, ramble. I invited some people, so we didn't really make the Zoom super public, because I invited like just a group of friends who are interested to know about this. But it's also live in the group and also live on my Facebook. So
great.
We can just get started if you don't mind. So nothing formal. I'm just gonna ask you the same question that I asked you a couple days ago. if you don't mind. And then maybe if there's anybody else with some questions, maybe we can take some questions if there's time. Is that
That's
okay?
great.
Yeah. All right. So, would you mind just introducing yourself first to everybody?
Sure. My name is Mary Catherine Roper, and I'm a lawyer with the American Civil Liberties Union of Pennsylvania, which is sort of part of the ACLU that you hear about so often. But I work specifically in Pennsylvania, and I live in Philadelphia.
Great. Thank you so much. Again, appreciate your time. So, for everybody that didn't know, I contacted Mary through like a mutual friend. Um, I was not worried, but I was just wondering. I received a messenger from some lawyer in New York claiming that I have what's the word, like like I posted something that I'm not supposed to be posting.
Yeah, they said you were defaming somebody, right?
Yeah, so that's the legal term. So basically what I did, so I showed Mary, so is it Mary Catherine or Mary?
It's Mary Catherine. Thank you.
Yeah, so just want to make sure. So I showed Mary Catherine what I posted a few days ago, like early January. What I did was I posted a couple ladies, and some of the people here know. One is not Indonesian and one is definitely Indonesian. We checked that, who was showing hand gestures, and one was showing like the white power. Like, I'm not even gonna show the hand gesture, but that's what happened. And then all I said in my post was that be careful when you showing hand gestures like this, because maybe you don't know what it means, but be careful, because also you're not white, so you don't have the same white privilege. And we talk about this over and over again in our community. So and then all I said was like, well, don't pretend you're Indonesian if you're not Indonesian. And then no matter how many times you deleted your post, that digital footprint is there, right? Like, if the court really wants it, they can actually access this post. Is that correct or no to say?
Um, eh, so it sort of the last thing that we should talk about is if you actually got into court over one of these things. I mean, I don't know what it would take. Actually, what you did is you reposted a photo that she had put on her own site, or one of those two women had put on their own site, and then added your comment to it, which is what one does on Facebook, right? You repost things that other people have posted and add your own comments. And just to be really clear, the reason that I said that there was no true legal way for you to get in trouble with that is that all you did when you reposted that picture was express your opinions about what the photos showed them doing. So people hear sort of the concept of slander and libel and defamation a lot, and they mean very different things in other countries, by the way. Mm-hmm. So I want to be clear, this is only about what it means in the United States. And for anything to actually get you in legal trouble in terms of being slander or libel, it has to be untrue, right? And your opinion can never be untrue. Now, if instead of just reposting the picture and expressing your comments about what she was doing, you had gone on to say, you must be doing this and that. I bet you stole Nancy Pelosi's desk, and because apparently these women were on their way to the January 6th rally. Like, if you had started saying things that you didn't know anything about, you were just assuming things about those people and posting them as if they were true, that is what gets you in trouble. And unfortunately, people often treat Facebook and the rest of the internet as a place where you can say anything and it doesn't matter. It does matter, right? And we've all seen examples of people saying really hurtful things about other people and really having a terrible impact on folks' lives. So like it matters just as a real thing, right? We all can actually be hurt by things that are said on Facebook. It also can matter as a legal thing.
Yeah.
Like if you are actually saying something about someone that is not just your opinion. Let me give you an example. So I give advice to lots and lots of activists of all kinds. What's the worst thing you could possibly say about someone? You call them a pedophile. That's the worst thing you can say about anyone.
Mhm.
And a lot of activists treat the word pedophile as if it were just saying, I disagree with you and you're a terrible person. That is not what the word pedophile means, right? The word pedophile has a really explicit meaning. And if you don't mean that very particular thing, you should not be using that word. Because when you call someone that and you have no reason to think it's true, you are in fact slandering them.
Mm.
So my rules for people who don't want to get in trouble with what they're saying online is stick to what you know for sure and stick to your opinion, right? And don't say things that you don't have proof of. And
Yeah.
if someone shows you that you're wrong about something you said, take it back.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's actually pretty simple, right?
We actually wish that everybody would do that in all parts of our lives, right? But people get carried away online.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it can have consequences. It can have just consequences for people, because those are still people you're talking about. They have lives, they have friends, they have family, they have jobs that they can lose, right? But it also can have legal consequences.
Right. Right. So what I did, there's no legal base to sue me. Like what I
No, right. And so your situation, Cinta, brings up another really important point. Anyone can get a lawyer to write a letter, right? You got a message from a lawyer saying that you had defamed one of those women and you had made unauthorized use of her picture. Like republishing something that someone has published on Facebook is not an unauthorized use of their picture, unless you're making money off of it, right? But
right.
but just reposting about it, that's what Facebook is. And that lawyer's letter accused you of defamation and misappropriating her likeness, and didn't say anything specifically about what you said. And a lot of people got the very same letter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very true.
And that means that she was upset about a lot of the blowback she was getting online. And she found a lawyer who would write her a letter to try to shut people up. And you know what? She might have been having a really hard time. And I've certainly known lawyers who would write those kind of letters for a friend, even though they don't actually kind of know this law, or they're not intending to follow things up. They're just trying to stop something bad that's happening to a friend. It's really easy to get a lawyer to write a letter.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I feel like this is like a learning opportunity for me, and maybe I hope for everybody else too. Like I have to be careful in what I post. And I feel like today I got a post of somebody, just like totally calling me names and things like that. And so I thought, wow, like the same day that I was gonna go live with Mary Catherine, this is so like here's like another learning opportunity. Um, so I received this post. Well, I mean, actually, I didn't receive. Someone had shown me like a screenshot of something that someone said, like, "Oh, this is in Pennsylvania." Like it stated that in Pennsylvania, um, um, posted about me, and then they started calling us names. What can I do about something like that? Like, I mean, I showed you. I text you the post. Like, is there even anything I can do about that, or just kind of step back and like, you know what?
Right. So what you can do is you can make sure that no one can post that kind of stuff on your page.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's just through your controls on Facebook. There's no reason why you want to give anybody in the world a chance to say nasty things on your Facebook page, I really recommend like making sure that can happen. And other than that, hopefully your friends know better. And I really suggest that, whenever you see something untrue about someone, that you say, I don't think that's true. Like, you don't have to, like, I wouldn't go looking for things about yourself.
No.
But if one of your friends saw that and just posted a comment to her post that said, you've got it wrong, Cinta's very careful, like she has her political opinions that are different from yours, but there's no reason for you to call her names. Like,
yeah,
maybe people would see that and think, oh, all right, so one of these people is reasonable and one of these people is not reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, and if everybody does that for their friends, then maybe you don't have to worry so much about what's out there about you, because you've got a friend who will say in a calm way, right? Not starting like a flame war.
Right.
Because flame wars don't, I mean, unless that's your hobby, right? They're, I hope you have better things to do, right?
Yeah.
Than trade angry posts with somebody on Facebook, than start wars on Facebook. If you know that your friends out there are going to speak up for you and you're going to speak up for your friends, then like your reputation is safe.
Yeah. So that's a very good advice. And like I tell my friends all the time, we talk to each other and we're like, oh my God, someone said about this about me. Well, maybe talk to them directly. Like I had someone talk to, like said something about me, saying that I was doing illegal things when I wasn't. So I actually called the person up and then we had a good conversation. And then the person understand where I'm coming from and I understand where they're coming from. And then that was done. Right. But then because of this past election, it was such a crazy election. And for our immigrant community, because I feel like this is the first time we're ever really get activated to be involved. So then everybody thinks their candidate is like the right candidate. Well, we know who's the right candidate. We know who's the president now. But, at the same time, there's that Google, and then everybody want to confirm what they believe is right. And then so sometimes I tell my friends okay, I know you want to vote for Biden. I know you really agree with his policy and everything, but at the same time, you don't need to spend 3 hours talking to somebody about how great Biden's policies are. Because if they really want to find out, they can go online and find this out. And you really we don't need to be treating a president or a politician like they're God. They're you religiously just defending this person, I don't think that's healthy. So that's what I would tell my friends.
Well, so I whenever I talk to people who have issues that they care about, they may consider themselves activists. Not everybody considers themselves an activist,
right?
But maybe there are things you care about and you engage in these conversations. Think about how you want to be spending your time, right? And do you want to be spending your time sort of reposting true information about your candidate and about your causes? Or do you want to spend your time exchanging like nasty insults with somebody on the other side?
Right.
And, unless your hobby is being a troll, you probably can find something more constructive to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I want to open it up. I know some people probably have questions, Mary Catherine, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Okay, so I see Desi is raising her hand. Go ahead, Desi, if you want to ask Mary Catherine one.
Hi, my name is Daisy. I just have a question. I got the same letter as Cinta. Basically, so many people that got the same letter as Cinta. What I was thinking before, because this is like a personal Facebook page from the lawyer, but he also mentioned about the firm. So do you think is it a good idea if we call up the firm and find out about this or no?
Good question.
So my recollection from that letter is that the firm was just the name of the lawyer. Right?
Okay.
You know, and so you know, usually my advice to folks is stop and take a look at what you've been writing. Is what you've been writing, because I haven't seen what you've written, I haven't seen what she's written, I haven't seen what he's written. I can't tell you that they're all okay. If you got a letter like that, you need to go back and look at what you wrote and say, does this meet Mary Catherine's test? Am I not saying anything that I don't know to be true about this person other than like my opinion? Like, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And if you are sure that what you're doing is okay, honestly, I would just ignore it and not blow it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually didn't say anything at that point. It was just like, you know, someone shared the screenshot of her saying that she was there, and I reshared the screenshot of
sharing.
that,
Yeah.
you know, and reshare it. And I said, oh, thank you for admitting, you know, that you were there. You know that this is a federal crime. That's what I said. And then actually someone screenshot that, you know, my post with my name on it and share it.
So let me stop you.
Mm-hmm.
You just accused somebody of a crime. You just said that somebody was engaged in a crime. And I with all this great respect for you,
Mm-hmm.
I bet you don't actually know what isn't a crime with respect to what she was doing. Like going to the rally is not a crime.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
showing a white power symbol is not a crime.
Okay.
Right? So and accusing somebody of being a criminal is one of those things, just like accusing them of being a pedophile, that is that like again, like talk about what you feel about it,
Yeah.
because that is what's true. Okay.
Yeah, I was actually saying that.
Right. So I'm just saying this because it's a good example for people to understand.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of misinformation about what is a crime and what isn't a crime.
Yeah.
And honestly, like to me, especially, you know, if you're talking in a community where people know one another and people value each other's opinions, I would care much more if you said to me, I find it really disappointing, right, that a woman of color would line up with somebody who has expressed so much prejudice against people of color. Like to me, that is far more persuasive than you saying that's a crime. Because like honestly, we all commit crimes all the time. Anybody not ever broken the speed limit? Let me see your hands. Anybody? Perfect?
No one.
No. So I mean, this is where I'm saying like there's to avoid saying something that you even and again, that lawyer's letter is nonsense. There's no reason for you to worry about it. But it's a good lesson, right? To speak from your heart and you can't get in trouble.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually, that's the second letter. The first letter is just from her accusing me taking her picture. But the picture was just like right there on the public. I just reshare it and then
no, you didn't do anything wrong by resharing her picture. Now, if you were making money off of her picture, if you started selling t-shirts with her picture on it, that'd be different. Don't make money off of other people's stuff.
Right.
Right.
That's a good question. Thank you, Mary Catherine. All right, Maria, you want to ask a question?
Oh, I would like to ask questions. Is there anything that we can do if we feel the letter, if we feel like we're being harassed, you know, by the letters, because this is not her first time doing it to some people, and I feel like she cannot try to make a mark on us and everything by telling her, you know, I call it followers, our, you know, our whereabouts and everything, encouraging people around her to keep an eye on us. Is there anything that we can do about it, or should we just ignore it or anything like that?
So if she is calling you out and identifying you, and Cinta, I don't mean by saying you're in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a big place.
Yeah.
But if she was saying, like, this is Cinta, she lives at this spot, she works at this place, like she's a bad person, you should go, like, you know, follow her around or keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't like do bad things, or, you know, basically encouraging people to stalk her. Like, that is when I would go for some help. First of all, you can report that to Facebook. You can report it to the police, because, you know, quite often if someone's doing something like that and they get one phone call from a police officer, that's often enough for them to realize that, like, again, like, their words are having real world effects. I also am a big believer in a community policing itself.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you have lots, like, your community can make a decision and pressure each other to say, that's not okay. Nobody should be doing that to anyone in our community.
Yeah. Okay. And I also have another questions.
Okay, wait,
It's actually,
let's give someone else a chance,
Right.
and then we can go back. So like Maria, if you want to write the question, and then, you know, like, just to save time, I don't want to keep Mary Catherine here on a Friday night too long. Greg, go ahead, Greg. What's
Yes, hi. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Mary. It's a really pleasure, you know, seeing you, and then thank you for joining our meeting, and also thank you for educating us. My name is Greg. I'm from Seattle. A quick question. Before my questions, so I have a comment. So you mentioned regarding the accusing. So what happened when Trump accused a lot of people that, hey, you are a murderer or some, or is that the president has like a privilege that he can say anything
No,
without
but
crimes?
most of the time he wasn't identifying individuals, right? Like his comments about, like, the Mexicans are this, or the Mexicans are that, or the Chinese are like this, or, you know, he said terrible, terrible things, terribly racist things, because he was talking about people, right, as if everyone in that group was that way.
But if you mention names,
right, it's when you target a person and say a thing about that person, that you can get in trouble.
Okay, so
otherwise
thank you.
he's just a racist.
Thank you so much. I have a question regarding taking pictures of videos outside. So because I saw a lot of video as evidence. So if I'm at the in Costco, and then someone, you know, trying to attack me, and then I record the video, do I need to permission from Costco, or I just hit the video?
So the worst thing that Costco could do is ask you to stop what you're doing. And I don't know what kind of rules that they have posted up at Costco, but in general, things that are in public, you can take pictures and you can take video of. But here's an exception. There are some places, Pennsylvania is one of the places, where even though I can take video of anybody I want, as long as it's a public place, like I can't take video in somebody's house, like that's not cool. I can't record their voice without their permission. So just, I don't know what the laws are in Washington State.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's a thing you might want to get some advice about. On the other hand, like if you're out on a sidewalk and someone's like yelling foul things at you and anybody around could hear, you can record what they're doing, because that's not private.
Correct.
It's very public.
It's a public, yes.
You can always record things that are very public.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much.
Good question, Greg. Thank you. All right, Robert.
Hi, Mary. I just want to follow up on Daisy's questions, and one of the reasons is why, because when they posted the pictures, they were in the proximity of the Capitol building during that insurrections. And that is why some of the people are telling her that it might be a federal violation for her to be there. So in this case, if our assumption is right and she was in that Capitol ground, can it still be called defamation when she was actually there?
So you don't know what time she was there. You don't know if she was inside the building where she had no right to be because the building was closed, or if she was outside the building. I thought it looked like they were in a car, but I didn't look very closely at it, right? So
there's like another video, live video actually. So, you know, like some people were posting that.
right, okay. And so if you see her in a crowd, you don't know if that crowd is on the Capitol grounds or if it was back outside the White House where the speech happened. So this is what I'm saying is you're adding things you don't know. And you should not add things you don't know. You don't need to accuse somebody of a crime to say, like, you know, you were in the middle of you know, these people that turned into honestly a murderous mob. Like, I don't know why you're posting that like you're proud of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Right.
think that's a much more powerful thing than for you to decide whether or not she was committing a crime.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well,
it's
this
still assuming. Yeah. Who's that? Is that Dency?
it is me.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. To continue what we are discussing about making pre-assumption whether she was or she was not within the area, so-called the dangerous area that people have been picked up by the FBI and such. I don't think this is important or not, but this is just for our conversation. I happened to see, I believe it was Jasmine's posting. It was a picture of the snooze, you know, the gallows or the snooze thing. And I followed the responses, and one of the responses said, let's hang Judas, hang Pence. And then after that, next it says, wow, the police are tear gassing us. So the next response said, you better be safe, get out from there. So when we read those kind of responses, you know, from Facebook, we would assumed that those people were in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the insurrection. So I think that probably one of the reasons why there are so many assumptions by so many of us about uh, her having committed federal crimes. But of course, we are using the terms very relaxedly. You know, it's not that we are very well versed on the legal terms, but we were caught in that moment of passion.
Oh, I mean, it sounds like you had a lot of reason to assume the worst of her. And so you may be absolutely correct, right, that the things she posted indicated that she was participating in a crime. Mostly what I want to say to you is usually, you know, when you call someone when you say someone is a criminal, you say someone has committed a crime, that is one of those things you have got to be right about, because that is one of the things someone can sue you for. That's not a statement of opinion, right? That's a statement about a fact. And so my advice would be to avoid offering a legal opinion about whether somebody's involved in a crime. Although I got to say, it sounds like you had a fair amount of evidence this time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of people did that, you know, like I think like it was the evidence was it's like an abundance of evidence. I think, so some people reported them, and like I'm sure FBI probably get like all this information already. So
Yeah.
but like to Mary Catherine's point, that lawyer's messenger was BS. Like, don't worry. And then I would encourage everybody to, like, let's move on from this, because I feel like we were moving on, but then you get like this messenger like 2 days ago. We're like, we're starting to forget this, and then you just bring it up to yourself. So that would be like my advice to everybody. So if you don't mind, I want to be sensitive of our time. Maria was asking in the chat, and then I saw that Mary Catherine, you answered, but if you would answer directly too. So Maria's question is, it's about calling somebody a racist. Will that get us in trouble?
Well, fortunately, it's a very serious thing to call somebody a racist, right? But there is no specific definition of a racist. Still, to be as careful as you can be, if you're going to say something like that about someone, say why. Say, I think you're a racist because you said this, or I think you're a racist because you did that. And then it's both your opinion and it's what you based your opinion on. And honestly, different people have different ideas of what makes someone a racist. And you can always say that was a racist thing to say if you wanted to be very, very careful. But it's not. In some circumstances, could be considered defamation to call somebody a racist. And so the way to be very, very careful about that is to say why. Don't just throw that word out there, but explain yourself.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any more questions before we have 5 minutes left?
I just want to say, Dewita, I love your virtual background. I'm having so much fun watching the fish.
So calming.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
There's a question from, I think maybe from Daisy here. Do you think we should answer that messenger? Well, personal opinion, I don't think you need to do anything, because the first message basically saying that I reported to her work when I didn't.
So are you talking about a message from the woman or something from the lawyer?
Go ahead, Daisy.
So basically, I got two letters, one from the woman and one from the lawyer. So the lawyer, what written on that lawyer message. But the first letter that I've got, that she actually saying that I only have 24 hours to delete all the pictures, all the reshare and everything, because it's actually, he said, throughout the globe, all over the world. And she told me that I reported it to get her trouble in her job, which I didn't. And I was just reshare a picture. I didn't even know where she lived. I didn't even know where she worked.
No, I mean, so here's my guess. My guess is that she sent that exact same message to a lot of different people, just like that lawyer sent that message that he sent out to a lot of different people. And she probably doesn't know. I bet somebody did report to her work and she doesn't know who it was. And she's just trying to stop it because at this point it's ruining her life. So you can understand why she'd want to stop it. I would not respond to anything that she says personally. I think that you're not going to win anything. And she's just more likely to make you a target and get, Trump trolls to target you.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? I mean, well, we only have 2 minutes, so if you have any questions, it can't be long. I certainly didn't invite Mary Catherine here to like look at everybody's posts. That's not the intention. The intention is like for us to learn. So then going forward, you know, like we are here and we want to build back better. So like, what can we do? And then let's just you know, like post less negative things if we can. That's the whole goal. You know, like people can call us whatever they want to call us, but I think people who knows us, they know what we're all about. They know our reputation, you know. So I know how all of you are. You all have been super supportive and positive in everything that we've been doing. So
Yeah, and don't let somebody else derail you, right? If that's your way of being and that's how you want to build your community is around being positive and focused on, you know, facts, things like that. Don't let anybody pull you off of that.
yeah. So thank you so much, Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Mary.
So
You're
helpful.
welcome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for
you.
your time, Mary. Nice
Yeah.
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
so much for your time.
Absolutely.
I hope you don't mind if we ask questions.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
we don't have to
much.
bother you.
Yeah.
But
Thank you so
No,
much
no,
for
I'm
your.
happy to do it. Thanks, everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Good
you.
night.